I've decided to make a video here a little different than most of my videos about the trip I just went on to BC snowmobiling in British Columbia. It was just, I had such an amazing time there. I only rode for 4 days, but I just thought I'd have to talk about it for anybody that's never gone and is thinking about doing it. It's not the cheapest trip you're going to go on, but I think it's worth every penny. So what I did was I had a little video. I didn't do a lot of videoing. It was just I was just enjoying the experience. I'm going to go again next year. I'm probably going to go every year now, and I'll get way better footage about everything. I was just enjoying it so much. I really wasn't concentrating on videotaping too much. So I was just clicking the GoPro once in a while, and that was it. So anyways, I decided to go. Finally, I've been wanting to go for years, since I was in my 20s, since I started snowmobiling, wanting to ride the mountains. And I finally did it. I'm 40 years old now, and I should have went when I was in my 20s because you have less fear. It just would have been, I don't know, would have been a lot better in my 20s, but I still had a good time. We had kind of crap snowmobiles. I was on a 19 or 18 850 174, just a Summit. I don't like the Skidoos. I wish I had a Polaris. Next time, I'm gonna have a better sled. Spend the extra money and just rent the sled you want. I'll tell you right now. So how it went, we ended up going, we flew into Calgary, and then we rented 4 sleds. We had to pick up a 5th sled in Kamloops or somewhere around there. So we ended up, 3 guys drove my truck to BC. They couldn't fly. Me and another guy flew. They picked us up in Calgary. We stayed the night there. Then we drove to Sicamous. On the way to Sicamous, we picked up our 5th sled. And then we rented the trailer and the sleds in Calgary. So we had a nice Airbnb too, which great place to stay at. And it was just, the thing is with the mountains, if you've never been, you don't just, it's not like trail riding. You get a hotel, you just ride from there. You get a cottage or whatever, you ride from there to trails. It's not like that. You trailer to different riding spots. Which is still fun. I mean, the one day I think we rode for 3 days in Eagles Pass, and which is just outside of Sicamous. I think it was a 20-minute drive, 15-minute drive. Not a big deal. And then we did go to Revelstoke for one day, which that was about a 45-minute drive from Sicamous, which I'm probably going to go back to Stoke. We're going to stay in the same place. It's pretty much, and it's just a great spot. One of the things you will find you get on the snowmobile. I've never rode the big long tracks, never rode a mountain sled. For one, they're skinnier, the front end. And the longer track, they're clutched, way different than a trail sled. I couldn't believe, as soon as I got on it, I thought there was something wrong with it until we started going. But once I got that all figured out. The other thing about it, there is trails. You start out, you park in the big parking lot, everybody unloads. And then you got to buy a pass for the day, and it's $20 for the day, which is, to me, that's cheap. They do groom a trail. I think the trail in Eagles Pass is, I want to say 35 kilometers. I could be wrong, might be longer. And then you basically just ride the trail all the way up to there's a cabin with a wood stove and everything, which is awesome too. And don't forget to pack a lunch, because obviously you're not going to a restaurant up there. So then you ride this trail and you get up to the cabin, and you basically can go anywhere you want in the mountains, anywhere. So if you just want to go and trail ride, by all means. If you want to bring your family up there, or you don't feel like you can't really go explore too far, you can do that too. Like, that's the good thing about it. But anyways, we had a friend of mine was up there with a couple guys he knew. They go up there riding for a month, 2 months at a time. They've been doing it for a long time. They know the area. They know how to ride in the mountains. Let's put it that way. So the first day we actually had not very good snow, which means not good snow up there. It doesn't mean there's not deep snow. It just means there's no fresh snow. So basically everything's packed down, and the only way to find good snow is you got to go into the trees, which we did a little bit the first day, but we were just getting used to the sleds, used to the terrain. Those guys knew this, so they basically just kind of watched how we rode the sleds and made sure we were doing good. Which the other thing too is, when you get on these sleds, you if you're just a trail rider and you ride whatever you ride like I do, you get off in the deep snow in the off trail and stuff. There's no really big hills or anything. You just basically are relearning how to ride a snowmobile when you go up there. That's just my thoughts. So anyway, so these guys take us out. It's all hard packed. I'm actually kind of glad it was hard packed because we got used to the sleds, and even though it's hard packed, we still went through some massive hill climbs or like just stuff you're looking up at, and it just blows your mind that you're going up this, but you just hold it wide open and away you go. So these guys, anyways, the first day, that's all we did. We kind of played in a little bit of the trees, but it was, like I said, there wasn't much fresh snow. Second day, they took us into a little bit more technical riding, I would say, and everybody did good in our group. So we went in the trees, found some better stuff, and then our third day we got snow. Like basically, so where we were staying in Sycamoose down low, it snowed. I think snowed 6 inches. It was kind of wet and heavy. But when you're going, so we go park and everything, and basically that means it's snowing like crazy up in the mountains. So we ride the trail. It's wet, kind of wet, sloppy snow. But the trail, you're talking, it starts out with maybe 2 feet of snow on the trail base, and then as you're going up, it just gets deeper and deeper, and you get up, I think it was 16 or 17 feet when we got up to the cabin. But as you're going, so about 15 miles in is when you hit that freezing mark, and you can tell everything's, the trail gets smoother, the snow's nicer, everything's freezing up on you. So we get to the cabin, you got to go inside, you unthaw, just let everything melt, you get all the ice off you, and then go back out. So our third day, it was snowing like crazy. I think there was a good 2.5 feet of fresh snow, and it snowed all day, so it's just nothing but fresh snow. So then these guys took us off into even some more crazier stuff. I recommend, if you don't know anybody that knows the mountains that's going riding with, and you guys you're fresh. I know a Chris Brandt tour. I was planning on doing that, but these guys, we ended up hooking up some guys that know the area. So we just went up and rented all our stuff. Or get a guide. If you have no one, a guide will make your experience 100 times better. We basically had free guides. Good group of guys. Brian, if you're watching this, thanks a lot. So these guys took us up in the mountains, showed us, they helped us a lot of techniques too, stuff you just don't know how to ride a snowmobile when you get up there. So by day 4, I felt way more comfortable on the snowmobile. Even though the Skidoo, I don't know, it's not for me. I like the Polaris because it feels more like a dirt bike. So next time I go, I'm going to rent a brand new turbo Polaris. So anyways, we felt a lot more comfortable day 4. It snowed again a lot. And this time we went to Revelstoke, which Revelstoke is an amazing place too. Same thing, you go up to the cabin, but I think their trail is a lot longer. So if you want to trail ride past the cabin, it goes up, I think, one of the higher mountains. So you can see like the good scenery and everything. Pretty sure you can do that if you just want to trail ride, and you can veer off too. That's the best thing about it. If you don't want to go deep into the mountains, you can still go out and play in the trees and stuff and stay close to trail if it scares you, which it will. So day 4, they took us into some pretty serious stuff in Revelstoke. We all made it. However, I did struggle. I think it was day 3. I struggled with a hill. The thing is, when you get off the trail and you're riding through all these mountains, you're doing big loops. These guys knew where they were going, but when you're in it. There's no getting out. Like you have to ride your snowmobile out of this, no matter what. So I just kind of psyched myself out. Anyways, got up the hill. I figured it all out. By day 4, I was good again. So we had a great ride day 4. Another thing is too, obviously you're riding. You want to get at least back to the cabin or the trail by dark, because you do not want to be stuck in those mountains. That's for sure. I know you see some videos, guys get stuck in there. I couldn't even imagine that, because your adrenaline's going, everything. It's just a great time. The second time I go, I'm sure it's going to be a lot less nervous, I would say, and more just the adrenaline part. So yeah, guys, if you're watching this video and you haven't gone to BC or anywhere where you can ride the mountains, I highly, highly recommend it if you love snowmobiling. It's not. I wouldn't say a beginner can go. Like I said, you can ride the trail. But if you're going to go and you're going to spend the money and you're a good snowmobiler, like I said, it takes a day or 2 and you'll figure it out. But go with a group of guys that can ride the snowmobiles, that are going to do it. Because if you have one guy that can't do it and you end up stuck back in these trees, you're pretty much screwed. You're going to get a helicopter and they're going to take his sled out and he's double riding back. So make sure you go with a good group that knows how to ride, because all of you are going to be learning again. That's for sure. It's changed my outlook on snowmobiling. Like, I like the trails. I like going as fast as I can on the trails, but I'm pretty much leaning towards now. I'm just going to do some trips. I'm going to go try out the Quebec, try riding there. They got, I guess, the Chick Chalks, I think it's called, which is some good good kind of mountains riding there. And then I guess like go, even if just not mountains, but go up to Wawa, where the deep snow is in Ontario, way up into the UP in Michigan. So I'm going to get out of the one, like right now my sled, obviously you're not taking that anywhere in the real deep. I do all right with it, but so I'm getting rid of that. And I'm going to get probably an Assault, so the 144 or a 136 XTR. I don't know, not 100% sure yet what I'm going to go with. So just this whole thing, the whole experience. If you're, like I said, if you're watching this and you're thinking about going to the mountains, 100% book the trip, do it. Don't cheap out on anything because you'll regret it. Get good sleds. The biggest thing is that I wish I would have just spent the extra money and got the sled I wanted. So next time, 100%, that's what I'm going to do. And I highly recommend that. So yeah, guys, just an amazing, amazing trip. Like in 4 days, you think, oh, if you're going to go that far, 4 days, it kicks your ass. I don't care how good a shape you think you're in, it kicks your ass. By day 2, you're extremely sore. The place we had a hot tub, so whatever you rent, make sure it has a hot tub because it helps. And then by the time you get up and you get moving the next day and everything, you get out there. Once you're riding the sled, you feel fine again. The other thing is too, the higher you go, you do get winded. So you do take a lot of breaks because you just basically got to catch your breath. Like you're working hard to ride that sled, and so you do take a few breaks, catch your breath. But some of the areas we found, just amazing. I can't even explain it. Like even the video, you watch the videos, you watch all these mountain guys. Riley Muskoka Freerider, I started watching him a lot, and even his videos, after you go, you appreciate what you're seeing more. Like I understand when his videos how steep the mountains he's really on. Like it's just a crazy experience. If you're just a mile, then you got to get like a little nervous just getting off trail a little bit. Don't go to the mountains unless you're just going to stay on the trail there just to see the scenery. But if you're a hardcore sledder and you want to go try this out, do it. Just do it. Who cares what it costs? I'm going to go every year now just because I just had such an amazing time. So guys, I made up this video just for this. I'll let you know how it went. So like I said, don't cheap out. Get a nice place to stay. We actually had a place to stay too that had dryers. The whole garage was heated, and it had the whole wall was all the tubes, PVC piping to hang all your gear, and it had a fan with a heat blowing hot air to blow your gear out, which is pretty much a must because you're sweating a lot up there. That's for sure. And your gear, wear your normal snowmobile gear, but all I did was took the liner out of my coat, wear a t-shirt underneath, pack a sweatshirt in your backpack. Because we did rent the backpacks with you got to get the beacon. The one mistake we did was we didn't have radios, which the one day in Revelstoke, it was snowing pretty heavy and we were way up we're pretty much at the top of the mountains. And we lost a guy for 45 minutes. He was stuck in a tree well. Luckily, the one guy ended up finding him, and then we all met in this one spot, but without radios, we would have been done. The new Polarises do have so that's the good thing about the Polarises. You got everybody's on a Polaris, all in the same group. You just go in your ride command and everybody's on there. Like you can see where everybody's at, which I think I wouldn't really think you need a radio at that point because you can see where everybody's at. But the radio is still good so you can talk and communicate, I didn't realize how important the radio was until we were up there and you realize it real quick. And yeah, that's it. I just let you guys know how my experience was there. It's 100%, 110%. Go do it and rent the sled you want. And yeah, guys, just an amazing time. So anyways, all my subscribers, thanks for watching. Anybody watching this hasn't subscribed yet, do so. I'm not just a snowmobile channel. Dirt biking, side-by-sides, all that stuff, boating, everything. I'm getting some new subscribers every day. It's just growing. I appreciate it so much. So obviously I don't do this for a living. This is something fun I like to do, make videos. Again, guys, thanks for watching and subscribe if you haven't yet. There's lots to come. We can cross the border now. It's going to be great. All right, guys, thanks.